clients that won't come to the store, we actually have to go to their house to do home consultations. I've actually driven to a house and had Secret Service go through my bag filled with sugar cookies just to go see my client.
Do you have any uptight conservative?
Very uptight conservative political types.
Any who have spoken out against weed?
Yes, but that's all I can say.
Do you ever talk politics with them?
Yes, all the time. We actually get along great politically wise because I'm a political mutt and I'm not in one box. I definitely don't fit in one box. Back in the day, marijuana was a big problem. I don't even remember talking about other drugs. To me, it was like, really stay off weed. Weed's going to ruin your life. I realized that when I were to smoke a joint, I was still in control and relaxed and I would have a good time. But if I were to drink alcohol, I felt like I was more likely to do something really stupid. I thought the medical was a joke. To be perfectly honest, that was my attitude. Then my friend, they gave him 4 months to live, put him on a really crazy high dose of chemo, and said, keep your fingers crossed. He was taking the pills, and he was throwing up every 5 minutes. And after 2 weeks, he just really gave up on life and called me, not to say hi, but, hey, do you guys have a gun I could borrow? And I said, for what? And he goes, well, I have $50,000 in my bank account, and I've already spent $10,000 on this chemo. I'm throwing up every pill. If I continue to take it, I will be completely broke, and I will be dead in 4 months, and my wife will be left destitute. And I would instantly just burst into tears, and I said, we have to do something. You can't just kill yourself.
Although she didn't know much about the pot world, Dina tracked down a joint with the hope it would help her friend.
He was sitting like this, with a pot in front of him, just throwing up. Sat up and he goes, this is amazing. And he took another hit, and he goes, I didn't throw up. The next day he called me and he goes, I need more of that. I said, I can't be in charge of bringing you weed every day, but we're going to figure something out. I noticed that there was one clinic that was advertising online. I made an appointment. They were in San Francisco. I called my friend and I said, we're going to San Francisco. We finally saw the doctor. He spent 8 minutes with my friend. I timed it. He said, your friend has cancer. I mean, boom, what's his name? Have him sign this. And I just said, there's a lot of people in Southern California that have cancer, that have AIDS, that have all sorts of ailments that need this. Why are there no doctors down there? And he said, well, everyone's scared because we're afraid we could lose our license for doing this. That's when I realized that we had to do something. We passed a law to make this accessible for these people. Why is this so hard? Why is this so difficult? I feel like I'm the only person that's trying to find a doctor to write a recommendation for someone so he doesn't go to jail when people are just smoking freely and breaking the law. I'm trying to do it right.
Dina saw an opportunity to help medical marijuana reach more people who had a legal right to it. She set up shop in the lobby of a hotel where patients could apply for a cannabis prescription.
From there, I asked the doctor if he would come down to LA and work with us. He said yes. So he started coming down. I couldn't afford an office. So I went to the Radisson Hotel. I used their lobby. And from there, every single patient that would come in and get their doctor's note would say, okay, well, where do I get my weed now? There was 2 dispensaries in LA at the time. Actually 3, one in Inglewood, one in LA, and one in West Hollywood. I went to them to check them out because I wanted to make sure that if I sent people there, that they were going to be good places. Instead, I felt completely scared for my life. I felt like I was in a crack den. People, when they're sick, they should come in and not feel like they're in a doctor's office. They should not feel like they're breaking the law. They should walk in and feel like, oh, I'm at Fred Siegel or some fancy Nordstrom's or Bloomingdale's. That's the experience I want them to have.
At this point, Dina enlisted the help of her childhood friend Andy to go into business together and open a medical marijuana dispensary.
At the time, when we first opened, we couldn't afford the deposit on the building. And so we had to bring in someone, an investor. We were in a rush. We really needed this money fast. We had met this other guy who was Mexican, and he worked at another collective. And he offered to give us some money. He offered $50,000 to be a partner. We said, sure, no problem. And then we realized he was Mexican drug cartel. We noticed something was a little off. He started bringing in his own employees, none of which would listen to me. And then money started going missing and strange things were going on. And I confronted them. And that's when he brought me out into the parking lot, and he told me that he was going to have a talk with me. We were going to settle this right now. And he opened up his glove compartment, sitting in his car, and he pulled out a handgun with a silencer. And he dropped it in my lap. And he goes, "So what do you think about that?" And I took one look, and I said, "You really can't keep your gun like this. It has to be coated in linseed oil, and you have to put it in a plastic bag or it's going to misfire." And he looked at me like, "How do you know that?" And I said, "I keep all my guns in linseed oil." And he went, "Damn, you're gangster." And I went back downstairs, and I told Andrew what had happened, my best friend. And he said, "We have to get rid of these people. This is it. Like, they're trying to steal our business." He physically jumped onto Andrew, and he pulled out his gun in the back room. And I jumped in between the two of them. I punched the guy, and I grabbed him by his ear, which is my signature move, and dragged him out of the store. So I said, "You need to give me a bag of $50,000. We're paying him out. And if you want to add a little bit more on there, give me another 10 grand, fine. Let's pay them off so they don't come back."
Were you ever afraid they were going to kill you?
A couple times. Well, our store got shot at about a week after he threw the gun in my lap. And we were in the back of the store, and we just heard boom, 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 like 7 shots. And we were watching the cameras, and we saw like someone firing from a G-Wagon. I didn't know who it was, but I had my suspicions. I called them up and threatened their lives and said they will never fucking see their mother again. They won't see their kids again. Motherfucker, you come back. And they were like, "We didn't do it. We didn't do it. I swear we had nothing to do with it." I'm like, "You are a liar. I know it was you." And they're like crazy.
You come off as a really cute 90-pound girl, and in reality, you're a gangster.
Thank you. I try. Gotta throw people off a little bit.
Is it part of your strategy, though?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I couldn't get away with half of what I get away with if I wasn't a girl. I'll give you that.
Do you think that they were ever afraid that you were gonna go after them?
Oh yeah. Which is so weird to me because, I mean, really, you think I'm gonna do something?
What's your reputation among the cartel?
Don't fuck with her. I don't know why, but don't fuck with her. Because I'm a really nice person. But if you mess with my business or my patients, you will have hell to pay. And that's that.
Dina's business started to grow at an exponential rate. As she started beating out her competitors and making big money, Andy started getting into trouble, and the authorities took notice. Even though medical marijuana was legal at the time, feds still looked out for cross-state and recreational sales and black market drugs being sold. Tell us a little bit about the feds. You've had some raids at the shop over the years.
I've been through a few. Yeah, the shop's been raided 3 times. In 2007, they came in and they raided all the collectives in West Hollywood on the same day. There was no reason in particular. It was just to scare us all. And they did. They scared us, that's for sure. It was a horrible experience. So I was sitting at my desk right over here. I looked up, and that's when I saw the DEA vest. I started walking towards that door. They were already walking in with the M16, pointed at me like this. And I said, "I have the keys. Don't break the doors." And that's when the guy he didn't bat an eyelash. He still had his gun pointed. He said, "Get the fuck down on the ground, bitch." And I went, "Okay." And I got down the ground. My girlfriend her head was laying next to my head. So we were facing each other. We both had our hands like this. And the officer was standing right here. And he was pointing the gun at us. And then he looked up and he saw the cameras. And he just started smacking the camera and breaking glass. It was coming down on me and my girlfriend and all over my dog. And I was screaming. And I was telling the officer right here, "Tell them not to break the door. Please, you guys, I don't know why you need to break everything. There's keys right here. They're sitting on the table. Just take the keys." And that's when he said, "We have our own keys." And I just heard boom. And that's when I realized this was not going to be a fun day.
What was it like, though, when they busted into your place?
It's terrifying. It is terrifying. There's 20 guys in SWAT gear with their M16s and face masks, and they're breaching all the doors with a battering ram. You don't have a second to think. And my first thought was, my other friends who have been raided, their dogs